technical service window. Hello everyone, my name is Kyle DiLorenzo from the Technical Service Window here at William Paterson University, and today we will be teaching you the basics of After Effects CC 2019. In this video, we will be learning how to import media, set up your media cache, how to use masks, as well as how to use the motion tracker tool. And at the end of the video, we'll be also showing you how to export. For this video, I'll be editing a clip of my coworker running down the hallway to show you how to animate a boulder chasing behind her. However, before we begin, I will first show you how to organize your project in media. First, you want to create an After Effects folder, and within that folder, create both a media and project folder. Import all of your media into the media folder, and later, create your project in the project folder. After creating your folders, next, launch After Effects. Once the program loads, click Create a New Project. Before importing your footage, the first thing you want to do is set up your media cache. Go to After Effects, Preferences, and then Media and Disk Cache. You need to set both your disk cache and conform media cache to your project folder. We do this so that everything stays on edit share, so when you switch from one machine to another, all of your data is accessible, as well as not filling up your quota. If your quota fills up, your computer will run more slowly, and eventually programs will no longer function. So now we can import our media. Go to File, Import, and I'm going to choose multiple files since I have multiple files to import. So then locate your media folder and import your media. Now we can save our project. Also, make sure you save your project to the project folder. I'm going to call this project Boulder Run. And you can hit the down arrow next to the name to expand the window and allow you to find your folder. One of the most important parts of creating effects within After Effects is keyframing. Keyframing is the process of setting keys within your frame so that certain values can change over time. Go to Transform, then Scale, and to change it, click the number and drag. If you would like to change the values over time, including position, scale, rotation, opacity, and many more, select the stopwatch, enabling keyframes. If we would like to have our boulder start small and then grow larger as the video progresses, set your first keyframe at the beginning of the video and then move towards the end and change the size of your boulder. Because of the keyframes, the boulder size will now change over time. You can apply this concept to almost any effect within After Effects. Now we're going to keyframe the boulder rolling down the hallway. I'm going to keep my boulder the same size, so I will click the stopwatch again, deleting all of my scale keyframes. Next, select the position and rotation stopwatches. Bring the playhead to the beginning of the composition and move the boulder where you would like for it to begin. Next, move the playhead for where you'd like your boulder to end, and then change the position by selecting and then dragging the numbers. If we now play the video, the boulder moves across the screen, but it still doesn't roll. Now we must animate the rotation. Make sure there's a keyframe at the beginning, and then create another at the end and change its value. Now, the boulder appears to roll across the screen. It is important to know that After Effects is a layer-based system. The highest layer will cover each before it, and this is instrumental in creating your compositions. So now knowing this, let's drag our media into the timeline. We have both our video footage as well as our PNG file of the boulder. The first thing you should do is trim the length of your clip so that you don't create extra work and only edit the part of the clip that needs to be edited. Next, duplicate your video clip using Command D. You will see why momentarily. In order for us to edit the boulder into our composition seamlessly, you will have to create a mask on our top layer to separate the foreground from the background. To begin creating a mask, select the layer you wish to create a mask on, and then select the pen tool. The shortcut for this is G. You can also use the hand tool, shortcut H, to move around the entire composition, and use the mouse scroll wheel to zoom in on your composition as well. Using the pen tool, then click to create a mask. It is best to go as detailed as possible to eliminate issues later. So now that we have created our mask, we still cannot see the boulder behind it. Let's fix that. Find your mask within the layer that you've created it in, and then change the mask from add to subtract. This will make the mask opposite of what it currently is, and will now allow you to see the boulder. The key to making this effect work is to animate the mask frame by frame in order to create a perfect mask. Make sure when animating your mask you have the stopwatches selected. When masking, you want to make sure that your mask is as perfect as possible. You can see here that there's a little bit of a gap by the railing, so I will adjust the mask so that nothing is being clipped. Make sure you do this frame by frame for the entire video, so that when you animate the boulder, you will not run into any issues. It is also important to know that to advance the timeline forward and backward by one frame, you can either use the page up and page down keys, or Command left and right arrow key. If we advance one frame forward, we can still see that the camera has shifted, therefore our mask is no longer aligned properly. We will now have to adjust the mask so it stays perfect. Continue doing this process frame by frame. You may be spending a long time animating your mask. I find a helpful suggestion is to put on music to help the process go by quicker. Okay, now I'm back having animated the mask throughout the entire clip. So now when the boulder rolls through the scene, it will not get clipped. Once we add back our top layer that we masked previously, the boulder now appears to roll down the hallway. Having gone over one of the most important tools in After Effects, being the pen tool, now we will go over another very important effect, this time being the motion tracker. First, go to the top right of your screen and select the motion tracking workspace. This will give you easy access to the motion tracker here in the side panel. Next, select the clip you'd like to track. I'm going to use the background layer. Next, hit Track Motion. It is important to have your playhead at the beginning of your sequence, so that when you start your track point and later track it, it will track the entire clip. Now we can move our tracker point. It is best to use a high contrast area. I selected the exit sign because the bright red letters contrast well with the darker background. The larger box of the tracker tells After Effects where to look for what you selected in the first box. If your image has a lot of camera movement, it is best to use a larger box, although this will take more time to track. If there is a small amount of camera shake, it would be best to use a smaller box for faster tracking. Next, hit the Analyze Forward button. Once the track is completed, first go to Layer, New, Null Object. We created this so that we can put our tracking data on this layer for later use. Edit the target of the track to this null object, and then hit Apply. Now that we have our tracking data, we can do some creative things with it. One popular use of this tool is to stick text to a wall. Create a text box using the text tool, which is Command T. If we go to our text layer and select the pick whip and parent it to our null object, we do this by dragging it and releasing over the null. Now our text layer can use the tracking data from the null object. Our TSW text layer now sticks to the wall. Before exporting your project, make sure your work area is set. These markers act like in and out points in Premiere Pro, so when exporting in After Effects, it will only export what is inside your work area. To export, go to File, Export. There are multiple ways to export, but I prefer exporting through Media Encoder. Once the program loads, you will see your project at the top. If you click where it says H.264, you can change the codec in which your video will be exported in. If you click where it says Match Source, you can then choose your resolution. I'd recommend to keep it as Match Source, as will be the same as your settings in After Effects. Lastly, you can change the file name and where it exports to. Export your video to the same folder as your project and media folders so that everything can be found in the same place. Once you are ready to render the video, hit the green arrow and it will begin to render. When it is finished, you will see a green check next to the file. The tracker tool can be especially helpful when using many special effects because you can reuse the tracking data for multiple layers. If we now enable our top running layer and boulder layer, we can now see our finished product. Both the pen tool and the tracker tool can both be used in a variety of ways, and not just what you see in this tutorial. The pen tool is very simple, yet versatile, and I find myself using it to create masks in almost any After Effects project that I work on. If you find yourself frustrated, I find that it often helps to take a break and resume working on the project later. I find that with fresh eyes, it is often easier to find a solution to your problem. I hope everyone found this video helpful in learning the basics of After Effects CC 2019. Please like and subscribe to the TSW channel for more helpful videos on both editing programs and equipment. Thank you.